All right, we're diving right into one of Kolkata's most chilling urban legends. This is the story of a place called Putulbari, which translates to the House of Dolls.
So let me ask you something. Have you ever heard of a house with the walls aren't just made of brick and stone, but of actual pain and screams? Well, in a forgotten corner of Kolkata, there's a place just like that. Something happened there a long time ago that twisted it into this ruin. A place now famous for nothing but its terrifying secrets.
Okay, so this is where our story really begins. We're following two people. Arjun, a heritage photographer, you know, the kind of guy who's drawn to mysterious old places, and his partner, Devika. They came to Kolkata looking for a bit of history, a bit of adventure. What they found instead was pure horror.
You can just imagine them, right? Wandering through the city, totally fascinated by the whole atmosphere, exploring all these narrow lanes and historic spots. Devika even said that it felt like every single corner held a new mystery. Little did they know, they were about to stumble upon one that absolutely should have been left alone.
So picture this, it's evening. They're wandering through an old part of North Kolkata, and then just bam, the weather completely turns. A sudden, violent storm just descends out of nowhere. We're talking a classic Kolkata downpour that caught them totally off guard.
I mean, with blinding rain and lightning cracking all around, they were just desperately running for shelter. And then, through the sheets of rain, they spot it. This huge, old, rundown mansion. But as they're sprinting towards it, Devika sees something weird. The local people? They're running away from the area, even leaving their own homes to get out of there. It was a huge red flag, but they didn't get it at the time. They just found the mansion door unlocked and, well, they rushed right in.
And the second they're inside, the whole vibe changes. The air just feels heavy. The house is a total wreck, you know? Damp, dusty, full of old wooden crates. But the strangest thing? Everywhere they looked, there were dolls. Hundreds of them. On shelves, in corners, sitting on furniture, all of them with these glassy eyes that just seemed to follow you. And Devika's gaze, it was immediately drawn to this one specific doll, tucked in a corner with a half-broken face, staring right at her.
So they quickly figure out they're not the only ones there. A few other people, including an older woman, are also hiding out from the storm. But the tension in that room was just palpable. And then, all of a sudden, one by one, the others just start leaving. I mean, they start running back out into the middle of this crazy storm. As the old woman rushes past, she looks right at Devika and whispers this super cryptic, fearful warning. Don't look at the dolls. And just like that, she was gone.
Literally a second later, crack, a huge flash of lightning lights up the whole hall. And for just that one blinding moment, Devika sees her, a woman in a white sari standing on the balcony right above them, just staring down. She grabs Arjun, yells, "Look," pointing up, but when he turns, nothing. The balcony was completely empty. And that, right there, was the first real seed of terror.
So Arjun is trying to calm her down, probably thinking she's just spooked. But right then, a massive gust of wind slams open this old wooden door, and it reveals this small, dusty room. And hanging right there on the wall, an old painting.
Devika felt this pull, like some unseen force was just dragging her towards that painting. It was a picture of a smiling little girl holding a doll. And as she gets closer, a voice just echoes inside her head. Today it is a ruin, but once it was a home. Her head starts to pound, and then, boom, she's hit with this flood of visions. The house's terrible, terrible past was literally pouring into her mind. And through this vision, Devika sees the whole history of the mansion just play out. It started out as a family home, built by this wealthy guy, a Bengali babu, for his daughter who he absolutely adored. He filled every room with dolls for her. But then, tragedy. The little girl dies, suddenly, mysteriously. Her father is so heartbroken he just abandons the house completely. And this is where the vision gets really dark, truly horrific. The property ends up in the hands of these evil men. They turn it into a place of torture for countless women. And Devika realized their screams, they never left. They were absorbed into the very walls of the house. Their souls were trapped there.
Devika just snaps back to reality, gasping for air, her heart just hammering in her chest. She's trying to explain to Arjun what she just saw, these absolute horrors, telling him this isn't just some old house, that so many people died here. He's completely terrified, not just by the story, but by the state she's in. He knows, right then, they have to get out, immediately.
But just as they turn to run, they hear it. This soft, rhythmic clink,
clink, clink of a single anklet. It's coming from the top of the stairs, and it's getting closer. Arjun yells out, "Who's there?" But only that chilling sound answers him. And then she appears, at the very top of the staircase. And this time, Arjun saw her too.
Devika just freezes, her eyes completely locked on the figure. It's like she's in a trance. As the spirit glides down the stairs, Devika slowly turns to Arjun, and this cold, totally unfamiliar smile spreads across her face. Her voice, all twisted and distorted, whispers, "I'm not leaving." It wasn't Devika talking. For just a split second, the real Devika breaks through, her eyes filling with tears as she pleads, "Arjun, save me." But then, just as fast, the spirit takes back control.
Arjun grabs her, trying to pull her away, but she just shoves him and throws him back with his completely unnatural strength. The spirit, staring at him through Devika's eyes, just hisses, "This is mine now."
Arjun's mind is just racing, right? He knows this stuff. He knows a spirit's power has to be tied to an object, anchored to something in the house. His eyes are darting all over the room, and then they lock onto it. The broken doll in the corner. The one that had been staring at Devika since they got there. And in that split second, he knows exactly what he has to do. To save her, he has to destroy that doll.
He doesn't waste a single second. Arjun rips out his lighter, flicks it on, and hurls it at the doll. It just erupts in flames, and as the fire consumes that creepy broken figure, the apparition of the woman in white lets out this unearthly shriek of pure agony. The connection was broken. The spirit vanished, and Devika just collapses onto the floor, totally unconscious. Arjun just scoops her up and runs right out of that cursed house and doesn't look back for a second. They didn't even go back for their bags. The very next day, they were on their way out of Kolkata, completely shaken and just forever changed by what happened inside Putulbari. But when Devika finally recovered, she told him something that was somehow even more terrifying. See, when that spirit possessed her, it wasn't just one soul. She told Arjun, "I could see all the other dead women there. They were all coming inside me asking for help." I mean, think about that. If he hadn't burned that doll, she would have just become another one of them, another spirit trapped in that house of horrors.
So you'd think that's the end of it, right? They left the city, they left the horror behind. But here's the thing. You can escape a place, but you can't always escape the memory. And sometimes, well, sometimes a little piece of that cursed place decides to follow you home. Because the truth is, some stories, they don't really have an ending. They don't just stay in the past. They become a part of you, kind of walking silently right beside you, just waiting for the right moment to show up again. And for Arjun and Devika, their story was definitely not over when they left Kolkata. So here they are, days later, back in their own home, where they're supposed to be safe. Devika just happens to glance at her window, and there, sitting in her yard, is a doll. She slams the window shut, locks it, which leaves us with one last really haunting question. Is what's outside just waiting to come in?